Hello my dear friends, welcome to Theory of Computation lecture series. We are on the way of doing normalization of the grammar. That means for the given context-free grammar, we are trying to convert that into normal form. Now moving ahead, we will see how to remove the useless production focusing on the unit production. So we have seen that to convert a grammar into a normal form, we have to eliminate three types of production. First is a useless production that are neither deriving any string or having an unreachable variables. Second is removing the null production, and in this video we are going to see how can we remove the unit production. Let us start with the definition of unit production. A unit production of a grammar is one of the form A tends to B where A and B both are non-terminals. So we have a production of the form A tends to B where the left hand side is a single non-terminal and right hand side is also a single non-terminal. Such production is called a unit production. There is a theorem saying that for any given context-free grammar G, there exists another context-free grammar G dash such that L of G dash is equal to L of G. That means language accepted by G dash and G are same and G dash does not contain any unit production. That means for any given context-free grammar with unit production, we can have another context-free grammar G dash without any unit production accepting the same language. Now the proof of this theorem becomes the algorithmic step for us. The first step says eliminate the null production from G to form another grammar G star with possibly a null goal symbol. So if you have a grammar G having null production, then first you have to remove that null production to proceed ahead of removing the unit production. If A is on the left hand side of the unit production and B is any symbol that is derived from A and B tends to alpha is any production with B as the left hand side where alpha is V union T. Now V union T whole plus, that is the positive closure of variables and terminals. Then add to the grammar A tends to alpha. So if we have a production of the form A tends to B, which is a unit production, and there is another production B tends to alpha in the same grammar, then we have to add this production A tends to alpha to the grammar. This step number 3 says do step number 2 for all symbols which are the left hand side of the unit production. So we have to do this step number 2 for all the productions having the variables on the left hand side of the unit production for the variables that are there on the right hand side. Once this step number 2 is complete and then there is no more unit production to be removed, then we have to discard all the unit production straight away. There is an important note to be made here, my dear friends, that to find all single symbols that can be derived from a symbol A, consider the derivation tree in which no symbol occur more than once. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to find out all the single symbols that can be derived from a symbol A. If we perform the same for the symbol A, which is a start symbol, then we will get all the possible symbols that can occur by the using of unit production. This will be clear when we will see one example. Now let's say that there is some grammar given and we have made this derivation tree for a non-terminal A. Here we can see that A derives B, D and E. They might not be unit production. Okay, they may be a unit production, but it is not compulsory. Same way, B derives C and F, D derives N and M. Now, if this grammar contains a production of the form M tends to B, we do not include it as B already occurs in the tree. Since it is a derivation tree, we know that all the non-terminals should occur only once. So if there is another production M tends to B in the grammar, then we can say that M derives B, but B is not added again because B is already there in the tree. Hence, the depth of the tree is less than or equal to the number of unit productions in the grammar 2 in the given example. So in this example, we can see that the depth of the tree is 2. That means the number of unit production in this grammar will be at least 2. Now, why is this useful? So this is useful just to understand that how many iterations of the step number 2 is to be done. Now, this algorithm will get more clear when we will explore this with an example. So here is the example given. So there are these productions for the grammar, which is a context-free grammar. Here we can see that there are 6 productions in all, out of which we have 2 unit production. One is this E tends to T and second is this T tends to F. So here our focus will be to remove this 2 unit production. Let us start solving this problem, the given example. So for making it easy for understanding, what I have done is I have written each production in different line. The step number 1 says eliminate all the null production, but for this given example there is no null production. If there is a grammar which contains the null production, then we have already seen how can we remove the null production. But for this example there is no null production, so step number 1 can be skipped. Now step number 2 will be focusing on E tends to T, because it says that if A is on the left hand side of the unit production and B is any symbol that can be derived from A, and B tends to alpha is any production with B as the left hand side, where alpha is this V union T whole plus, that is the positive closure, then we have to add A tends to alpha. Now applying this step here, we see that it is E tends to T, which is a unit production. So we have to find all the production of the form B tends to alpha. So in this given grammar, we can see that there are 2 such productions. T tends to T star F and T tends to F. So what we have to do is we have to add A tends to alpha. That means A here is this E, then alpha is T tends T star F and F. So we have this 2 new production, E tends to T star F and E tends to F, because we have E tends to T and T tends to T star F. So we will get E tends to T star F and same way E tends to F. So we have to add this 2 production to the grammar. So our new grammar will look like this. So initially there were 6 productions. Now it have 8 production because this 2 production for E are added to the grammar. The step number 2 should be repeat for all symbols which are there on the left hand side of the unit production. So for this, now we have to refer the new grammar except the production that has already been processed, because that will not have any effect. So we have to use this new grammar for the step number 2 again. So again repeating the step number 2, we will be focusing on the production E tends to F, because E tends to T is already processed. So here are these 2 production which are having F on the left hand side. So as per step number 2, we have to add this alpha, which is this bracketed E, and this A to the new production. So the new production will be E tends to bracketed E and E tends to A, because we know that it is E tends to F and then F tends to this bracketed E. Same way, E tends to F and F tends to this A. We have to add this to our grammar. So our grammar will be updated and we will have 2 more production added to the grammar. So now 6 production became 8 and this 8 production will now become 10. So again we have to repeat this step number 2 for the unit productions which are remaining. So we have processed E tends to T, we have processed E tends to F. Now we have to focus on T tends to F. So the next production to be focused is T tends to F. So finding the production where B is on the left hand side, that is F is on the left hand side, we can see there are 2 productions here. So we have to do nothing, but we have to add this 2 production, T tends to bracketed E and T tends to A to our grammar. And the new grammar will have 2 more productions. So here it was 10 and here now we have 12 production in the grammar. Again we have to repeat this, but seeing at this new grammar, we are done with E tends to T, we are done with E tends to F, and we are done with T tends to F. So do we have any other production to work on? No. So it is now moving on to the step number 4. Discard all the unit productions. So there are 3 unit productions in this grammar: E tends to T, E tends to F, and T tends to F. Look at this, my dear friends. We started with a grammar which had only 2 unit production, but during the course of process, we have found that another unit production was added, but we have removed that also. We have to discard that also, and our final grammar will have only 9 productions. So 12 productions, we are discarding this unit 3 productions, and we will have this only 9 production, and our final grammar will look something like this. So this initial given grammar, E tends to E plus T or T, T tends to T star F or F, F tends to bracketed E or A, will become E tends to E plus T or T star F or bracketed E or A, T tends to T star F or bracketed E or A, and F tends to bracketed E or A. This grammar is free from unit production. Initially there were 2 unit production. After all the process, we are having this final grammar without any unit production. I hope it is clear, my dear friends. You can work on many given examples. If you have any query, kindly do post into the comment section. We'll work on it. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos on Theory of Computation lecture series.